doing today? Welcome back to yet another webinar. My name is Dr. Jolene Fernandez, and today we're going to be talking about our heart health. One of the most important organs in our body, and the functioning of the heart is really very important. Well, let's talk about the main causes of a heart attack. If somebody asks me what are the main causes of a heart attack, I would say it's unawareness, lack of knowledge, misleading concepts about diet, lifestyle, and exercise. Well, it really pains my heart to see parents with kids at supermarkets when they're loading their carts with all the possible processed food, packet food, sugary drinks, sweets, processed meats, cold cuts, ham, salami, cheese, processed jams. All I see is also parents taking their kids to the nearest store, the cafe, early in the morning before they go to school, or for breakfast they're buying them patties or croquets or burgers, chicken rolls or samosas. Well, I do not really blame the parents nor the kids, because today's health influencers and our celebrities are highly recommending such food. Why? Because it's so Instagrammable. It feels so cool to take a picture with you eating a burger, but it's not really cool to be eating dal, rice, sabji or sabudana khichdi and post a pic on Instagram, isn't it? It does not really look cool. Now, at a very young age, if you're going to show the younger generation that it's more important to look cool while eating junk food and follow such celebrities, then guess what? We are creating a generation of unhealthy individuals, having not just heart diseases, but a lot more. Alright, the next factor that can lead to heart problems is lack of activity. I'm not even talking about exercise. But lack of activity. We are become pieces of furniture today in the house. Just because the pandemic has hit us and we are at home and we're not allowed to go out, that does not mean you have to sit in one place and just be in front of a gadget the entire day. You can definitely walk from one room to another. You can just stand and do your phone calls, or you can even attend your meetings standing. It doesn't really matter. So do not be a piece of furniture. Get moving, get active. Today there are apps also to track your steps. In fact, I don't really understand the use of these apps, but we'll come later on to that topic. But lack of activity is what's really killing your metabolism, and you're having a higher risk for developing a lot of problems, especially heart-related issues. So don't be pieces of furniture in the house. Please move. The next is the food industry. The influence of the food industry on us is such that it has made us believe that our local food is bad for us, and we're always inclined to eating anything that's foreign. As Indians, we were always colonized by the West. They left our countries a few years back, but they still continue to colonize us through the food industry. We are still slaves to the West. So you see, because some big food company pays a celebrity to say that olive oil is good for the heart, we're all made to believe that olive oil is the only oil that is good for the heart, including our health professionals. There are a very few handful of doctors and health professionals who will actually advocate eating local and traditional food. Otherwise, a standard diet for heart patients or diabetic patients, and I'm talking through my experience, is 1 cup of green tea with 2 fiber biscuits. That's the first thing. The next is they'll say switch to olive oil, irrespective of which part of India you belong to. You have to stop using peanuts, coconut oil, or your regular mustard oil, and you switch to olive oil. And the next, they will cut out all sorts of fats from your healthy fats from your diet. So there's no peanuts, no ghee, no cashew nuts. This is all banished from the diet completely. Why? Because we are Indians and we grow coconuts. We have a lot of cashew nut trees growing here. We grow surplus of peanuts. So we should not be having that, right? But let us all be smart and high on common sense. And if you are an Indian and if you live along the west coast of the country, you've got such a lot of coconuts growing along the west coast of India. So please have coconuts. If you live up north, you can definitely use your sarson ka tel or the mustard oil, right? You do not have to switch to using only the oil that has been suggested by the food industry, which is supposed to be healthy for the heart. Well, about 4 years ago, a paper was published by the American Heart Association about the benefits of including good fats post a bypass surgery. And the paper clearly mentioned the importance of ghee, coconut and peanuts in the diet of a patient with blockages in their heart. So let's make a paradigm shift. Okay, so try and eat your local foods. They are very, very important. It could be a local fruit or a local vegetable or a local oil. Try and stick to eating your traditional local food. Next, consumption of meat. Now, being a Goan, I have been raised eating meat. But. We ate meat, or we eat meat only on a Sunday. I was grown up eating meat either on a Sunday or whenever there was a feast. So we would actually look forward to eating that meat, maybe a sorpatel or a beef rulad or the mole or the reshad masala. So these were kind of recipes that I have been brought up eating. So the meat was well marinated, cooked in with a lot of spices which enhance the flavor of the meat. So you would actually look forward to having meat on that particular feast or on a Sunday. Well, this is the way you're actually supposed to eat meat. Now, can you tell a hardcore Goan or a non-vegetarian to stop eating meat even if he has a heart problem? Well, he does not have to stop the red meat or white meat or any sort of meat. In my opinion, you do not have to stop eating your meat. Only start eating your meat the way you ate it in your childhood. Traditionally, maybe on a Sunday, or maybe once in 15 days, or as a traditional meat dish which is prepared for the feast, right? Another thing that you need to keep in mind is do not change the recipe. A lot of people who say, okay, I'm going to cook chicken, but I'm going to put low fat this, low fat that, and I'm going to put a meat tenderizer, and I'm going to put something else so that it becomes healthy, and you completely change the whole traditional recipe. So do not use stuff to make it low fat, or don't change the oil when cooking the meat. Don't change the recipe, all right? Because just because someone says that olive oil is healthier than your coconut oil, or apple cider vinegar is better than coconut vinegar, you do not need to change the recipe. In my advice, you do not need to change the recipe. You do not need to become a vegetarian if you have a heart disease, all right? So just keep this in mind. Next, a lot of studies have proven that heart diseases are genetic, and I completely stand by it. Heart diseases are supposed to be also genetic. If you are an Indian, studies say that you may have a heart attack 10 years earlier. If you are a diabetic, you have 5 times more chances to have a heart disease than a non-diabetic. Now, this is completely true. I am not disagreeing with all of this. But why worry about things that you cannot change when you can do so much more about the things that you can change? Can you change your gender? No. Men are more prone to having heart diseases than women. So you cannot really change your gender. Can you change your genes? No. Can you stop aging? No. So why worry about stuff that is not in your control? What you can really control is the way you eat. So make healthy or sensible eating choices. Stay fit. Be more active. It's so basic, right? You eat well, exercise, and you need not worry about your genes and about aging and of having risk of developing diabetes or hypertension, isn't it? So these are few points that you need to keep in mind. Another question that I keep getting is as a doctor is do I see younger and younger people having heart attacks or suffering from lifestyle diseases? Well, yes, it is quite alarming to see that younger people are actually having heart attacks. Well, when I was in the first year of medical college, we heard of people getting diabetes in their late 40s and 50s, and after I passed out, that was about after 5.5 years of college, well, I realized that not just diabetes but even heart attacks and bypass are happening to people in their early 20s and early 30s, and very young people are dying of heart attacks. So what does this really mean is that we need to do a paradigm shift. We need to bring about a lifestyle change, not just keep aping the Western countries and start using olive oil over coconut oil, or having meat just because it's high protein. All right. Well, now as a nutritionist, what I could recommend for having a good heart, besides just the food, the first very important factor is get moving. Your heart is just like any other muscle in the body. Alright, so it needs exercise to be strengthened. You need to exercise to strengthen your heart also. When I say exercise, it just does not mean walking. Walking does not qualify as an exercise. An exercise is something that will challenge you, which will keep your heart racing. It will, it will make each and every muscle in your body a little, get it involved in the exercise, make it stronger, right? So the kind of exercise that a heart patient could do is aerobics. Now that also depends on various factors. I will come to that later, but you can do yoga, aerobics, strength training, weight training, all of it. So get moving, get exercising, and this will keep your heart muscle really strengthened. The next is NEAT, N-E-A-T. Now what is N-E-A-T? N-E-A-T means non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now we need to follow this. Now NEAT is the thermogenesis that takes place, or the burning of calories or increased metabolism that takes place when you're active throughout the day. So it does not mean that you go to the gym, spend 1 hour in the gym, or even sometimes 2 hours in the gym, and then the whole day you're like on couch potato, sleeping there and watching television, or you're Netflixing from your phone or your iPad. That does not really give you results. So as far as possible, stay active throughout the day. Alright, the next is the food. Well, as a nutritionist, I'm expected to talk about the various foods, so here it is. You will be shocked to know that you do not really have to go very far away to find healthy heart foods. You can find it in your kitchens, in your backyards, and they could also be some of your favorite foods that you have been told to go off. Well, the first thing is include fruits in your diet. What kind of fruits? Local and seasonal fruits and vegetables. Now these fruits and vegetables which grow in and around you are the ones that you need to include. Why? Because they are very rich in antioxidants and they bring about angiogenesis. Now angiogenesis, I know it's a big term, but it's very simple. Now when your heart, you have small blockages in your blood vessels here and there in the heart, your heart will actually start growing a few blood vessels around that area. Whichever part is blocked, so it will try and bypass and grow a few blood vessels around that area. Just like you have a roadblock somewhere, yeah, it's because of there is some breakdown, or there are some repairs of that area being done. That road is blocked, so you have another bypass to reach the same destination. So similarly, inside your heart or around your heart, wherever there is a compromise in the blood supply, there are new arteries being formed, or new blood vessels that are being formed, which will supply and still support your heart. Now this process is called angiogenesis, and what really helps angiogenesis is antioxidants. Where do you find these antioxidants? In your local fruits and vegetables. Alright, so try and include as many local fruits. So during the summer, your mango, jackfruit, jamuns, these are the best. Now in this season, we are slowly progressing. During winter, there are various kind of melons which are available, different kinds of roots and tubers which are available. So try and see that you get as many local and seasonal fruits and vegetables in your diet. Of course, you're supposed to have your legumes, pulses, beans and things like that. So include that in your diet. Eat fish, your meats. Of course, how I've already explained to you how to eat it, and include good fats in your diet. Now, good fats such as ghee, your oils, the various kind of local oils that grow, your nuts, they actually help to improve good cholesterol levels. They reduce the blood clotting factors, okay, and they also help in regulating your heartbeats. So understand that good fats have to be a part of your diet. One such good fat is peanuts. Now peanuts have something called as resveratrol. Now this is the same ingredient which is there in red wine. So the wine industry or the alcohol industry told us that we need to have red wine to have a good heart. Well, you can also eat peanuts to have a good heart. You don't really need to invest in drinking a lot of red wine. And please, if you enjoy drinking red wine, then please have red wine whenever you feel like, not because it's got any health benefits. No alcohol has got health benefits. Maybe it may be wine or it could be beer. It has got no health benefits. All right, so you can include your peanuts. You can have a peanut chicky, you can have a peanut chutney, or you could just have raw roasted peanuts as your midday snack or an evening snack. It really helps to actually relax your blood vessels and helps to bring down your, or regulate blood pressure. So resveratrol is one such ingredient in peanuts which helps. The next is cashew nuts. Now cashew nuts are very local to us here, and they are packed with a lot of magnesium, and magnesium is the center for a healthy heart rhythm because it's involved in transporting a lot of electrolytes such as potassium and sodium into the cells of the heart. And these electrolytes are very important for the nerve conduction of the heart, or the contraction and relaxation mechanism of the heart. So for that reason we need magnesium, and one of the richest sources of magnesium is cashew nuts. So include cashew nuts. You could eat about 10-15 cashew nuts a day, doesn't really matter. You can have it in the morning as soon as you wake up, or in the evening as a snack along with your chai. You can definitely include that. Next is medium chain triglycerides, or essential fatty acids. Now these are really very important, and these are present in ghee. Ghee is rich in fat, and it contains a high concentration of monosaturated omega-3 fatty acids, which are known to support a healthy heart and the cardiovascular system. There are studies that have shown that including ghee as a part of your diet have helped to reduce unhealthy cholesterol levels. All right. The next question comes about oil. Should I be eating oil? Should I stop eating oil because I have a heart problem? What type of oil should I be using? Should I be using olive? Should I be using coconut? Well, what should we do is never stop using oil. Understand this. The concept of essential oils or infused oils has been trending recently, right? We have big brands and big companies selling us essential oils or infused oils. It's a very trending concept to have essential oils or these fragrance oils in your house. What they do is they'll have a carrier oil and they'll infuse it with certain herbs such as rosemary or lavender or lemongrass. Now the concept of essential oil was already known to our grandparents and great grandparents and our culture here in India, and that is the reason when we make a pulao or a dal or a biryani or even something non-veg or a sabji or a chutney, we always add a tadka to the dish, or we saute the onion or the tomato or a little bit of curry leaves in oil, isn't it? Because oil is a carrier of nutrients into the cells, especially for fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin D. So without good fats in our diet, such as your oil, ghee or nuts, vitamins such as vitamin D and other nutrients will never get into your cells. So no zero oil cookings, and especially no air fryers. Alright. Now what kind of oil is better? Refined is better or filtered is better? Such a lot of confusion because there's such a lot of information out there. Now understand this, the process of refining is done at a very high temperature. So the oil, so if it's coconut oil or if it's peanut oil or any kind of oil, it is heated above the smoking point. Okay, and this makes it really very toxic for consumption. Secondly, the process of refining uses very low grade seed which has gone completely bad. This is because the refining extraction is done at such a high temperature that the final product, the final oil will not really retain the taste of that nut or the seed, so they can use very low quality seed. And also refining gives you 100% extraction and there is no taste, no original taste or flavor, so they always have to add in some flavoring agent to the oil. Another thing is all the vitamins and minerals are lost in the process of filtering. Yeah, because it's heated at such a low high temperature. In case of filtered oil, all the vitamins and minerals are not lost because they use the filtering process actually is done at a very lower temperature, so the essential fatty acids, vitamins and minerals are retained, so you really get good quality oil. So be careful when you're choosing your oil. Try to go in for more of filtered oil and not refined oil. Next, what type of oil? Peanut, coconut, sesame, mustard, rice bran, sunflower, what is better? The oil that you need to use is the one that grows in your region. That's the most simple way to understand what oil you need to use. That's because the oil that grows in your region has the right combination of the essential fatty acids, omega-3 to omega-6 to omega-9. So it has the perfect combination that will suit you. So if you live across the west coast of the country, you can have coconuts or also groundnut oil. If you live somewhere up north, then you can have mustard oil. Alright, so try and understand this. It's very important to understand what oil is to be used and what's best for your heart. When you go to the Mediterranean, you go for a holiday to one of the Mediterranean countries where they're serving only olive oil, enjoy having your olive oil. But when you're in India, when you're eating at home, try and see that you use your local oil. The next is about salt. The first advice that is given to a high blood pressure patient or to a heart patient is to stop eating salt. Salt is the biggest enemy. But please understand that salt is not your enemy. What you actually need to do is stay away from that packaged food or those grilled chips or baked chips or high fiber foods which have a lot of preservatives in them. They are the ones that affect your heart health. They don't allow the nutrition from your good food to reach your cells. So just by stopping the use of salt at home is not really palatable. The food does not seem to be very tasty. You do not feel satiated, and post the meal then there's a constant craving to eat something. You're constantly hungry or you're constantly binging on unhealthy food. So do not compromise on salt intake during cooking. Alright, you need to understand this. And the last point that I would always suggest anybody with a heart problem is try to minimize the use of gadgets, especially before you go to bed, because already the brain is so active, there's such a lot of things going on, your focus is somewhere else. But to get good sleep and for the best heart health, especially post a bypass or even if you found to have blockages in your heart, is to get good quality sleep. And for the best quality of sleep, try to see that you keep your phone or any sort of gadget about 30 minutes before you sleep. Keep it away from you. That's the best way to get good quality sleep. Alright, so I think I've answered most of the questions, or I've covered most of the topics around heart health, and I've come to the end of the webinar, and now I'll be taking a few questions. I can see a lot of questions here, but as usual, because we don't really have a lot of time, I'll be answering just about 2 or 3 questions. So here's an interesting question. What if you have already been diagnosed with a heart condition, or worse, you've still suffered a heart attack? How can exercise help? Or how can exercise help? Right. Well, cardiac rehab is one of the most understudied topics in our country. If you go abroad, you go to any of the European countries or the American countries, they really focus on cardiac rehab with exercise. Yeah, in our country, what you're asked to do is just rest or then go for slow walks and things like that. But no health professional or doctor ever suggests you to do a little bit of strength training or weight training. So I get a lot of questions through emails or even on my social media asking me about whether I can lift weights after a heart attack, or if I can lift weights after doing a bypass. Of course you can lift weights, of course you can you can do vigorous exercise, but it depends on a number of factors. Number one is how severe was your heart attack. How quickly did you get to the hospital for the first line of treatment? How good is the functioning of your heart? So accordingly your intensity will vary. what I can really suggest is invest in a good trainer or invest in a good fitness professional to work with you, so he can actually guide you through your exercises in the initial days. And once you really you're really capable of doing intense exercise, then you can do it by yourself. So your intensity of the exercise will vary. Even if you've had the worst heart attack and very low heart function, still I would suggest that you should have about 20 to 25 minutes of good exercise. Maybe even a brisk walk would really do. And if you have normal heart function after a heart attack, if you've had stents or even if you've had a bypass, it doesn't matter. It's very, very important and very necessary to have an exercise regime. All right, meet your doctor, invest in a good fitness trainer, get into weight training or strength training with a professional by your side, and you are good to go. I hope this has answered your question. So you can definitely indulge in weight training or strength training post a heart attack if you've had a bypass or you've undergone angioplasty. The next question is, I think there is also a misconception that it is mostly men who suffer from heart conditions. Could you please clarify with us? Well, yes, you're absolutely right. Men have a higher risk of heart attacks than women. It's absolutely true. That is because of the hormone estrogen and progesterone in women. Now, these are cardioprotective hormones in women. That means that they lower the risk of a woman having a heart attack. So that she has a lower risk than men. But after the woman has attained menopause, or even during the perimenopausal stage, the production of estrogen and progesterone by the ovaries reduce, and that is when she's at an equal risk of developing heart attacks than a man. They both men and women have an equal risk. So what can a woman do during her menopausal stage or even perimenopausal? Get into exercise, especially strength training, weight training. This is something that would help. You could also do yoga and meditation, and eating right, eating sensible, eating phytoestrogen rich foods like your tubers, roots, flax seeds. These are foods that women during their menopause can include. And this would be the last question that I'll be taking. What are some of the immediate symptoms of someone suffering from a heart attack, or what can one do about it in terms of first aid? Well, some of the immediate symptoms of someone suffering from a heart attack would actually be chest pain, but sometimes it does not really present as a chest pain. I had this incident happen to my own family member. Actually, it was 2 o'clock in the morning when I got a call saying that my paternal uncle was admitted to the hospital with a heart attack. And when I investigated, when I asked him what happened, he said, I just had this irritating nagging kind of a pain in my in the neck, not even in the arm but in the neck, which then slowly he kind of developed a sort of a breathlessness or a heaviness on the chest, but he never really had any heaviness or a shooting pain in the chest. So it can present differently. Another pain that you could also get is on your jaw. Your jaw on the left side could start hurting, the arm could hurt, or you could just feel a burning sensation like as if you're having an acid reflux. So these are some of the common symptoms. You could also break into severe sweating. These are also signs of an acute heart attack. Compromised blood supply to the heart could present in different ways. Suppose you are feeling really tired, even at rest, you are feeling breathless at rest. That means you really need to see a doctor. Second is if you walk a few steps, you get breathless. Third is, if you climb up a little or you go up a slope, you start feeling breathless. So these are signs that you should be seeking professional help, or these are some of the signs that you could be a candidate for a heart attack. About first aid is if you see somebody collapse, then you start CPR right away. All right, that is the only thing that could actually help. So if you want, you can get yourself enrolled with the with the Red Cross and get yourself trained to be a first aider or someone that specializes in CPR. Well, I guess we are come to the end of today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining in. My name is Dr. Jolene Fernandez. I'm a clinical nutritionist based in India. I also do online consultations, so do get in touch with me. You can visit my website drjolene.com and also visit my Instagram handle Sensible Eating. Thank you very much.